Hey guys, Kyle, the Death Knight of Anime here, bringing you my review for One Piece chapter 933. And oh boy, do we have one hell of a chapter tonight. Like, holy crap. Okay, so starting off small, the chapter starts off pretty much revealing, pretty much giving us the reveal of what exactly Orochi's devil fruit is, like that it's a mythical zone fruit, and that it's the snake fruit of the Yamatano no Orochi, which it feels like a formality at this point, but you could have, and I feel that Oda definitely could have probably ended up having that reveal basically giving us that reveal in last week's chapter. But then again, that's really a nitpick because like I said, this was another chapter where absolutely everything went to shit. And the funny thing is, I find it kind of interesting, and one thing I find kind of interesting is that this is one instance where Luffy is absent from this particular instance of shit hitting the fan moment, which isn't, and like, you gotta understand that everything that's going on here, it isn't even the climax, so it makes you wonder as to what kind of entrance that Oda has planned for Luffy, if all this shit is, if like all the other Straws have already caused like this pretty much big, pretty much extreme and major panic already. Like, what more the hell is Luffy gonna bring to the table? Like, I mean, obviously it's gonna have to do with something with basically all the prisoners, but yeah, like, what kind of bombastic big entrance is he gonna have for Luffy? And I'm not even including what. Sorry, I'm not even including as to what freaking Chopper's group has in mind. But we'll get to that in a bit here. But yeah, but yeah, like, and that doesn't even include what Chopper's group's got planned, which, I don't care. I'm jumping ahead. I need to talk about this. The last page where we see Chopper's group and Big Mom again. If I'm understanding the inclinations of the dialogue correctly, then, oh boy, this climax is going to turn into one of the biggest shit shows ever in One Piece history. Because just imagining, like, okay, just imagining both what the hell ever Oda's got planned for Luffy's big entrance, plus adding into the fact that, like, plus adding into whatever the hell kind of massacre that's going to occur from basically luring luring Big Mom, who still has amnesia, mind you, into Kaido's territory, just makes me say that nothing good, at least in the long term, can come from this. I mean, big whoop. The Strats end up causing a lot of havoc to Kaido's forces. But you gotta think of what's gonna happen if the big bitch ends up regaining her memory in the middle of all this shit that's gonna go down. If the big bitch ends up regaining her memory, then at that point, I think the only thing that the Strats can hope for at that point is that they're going to be able to is that Big Mom's hatred for Kaido is even greater than her hatred for basically the Straw Hats, and at that point, like, all they can hope for is they can strike I suppose a bit of a temporary truce, again, at that point, if the temporary truce works, it really all depends on how big her hatred is for Kaido compared to her hatred for the Straw Hats and what happened at the tea party. But just imagining what's gonna happen from here is kind of scaring me a little bit. Oda, I'm not sure what you're planning for this climax, but please, oh boy, Oda, just please don't kill us just whatever you do this climax, please don't kill us. That's all we're asking. Just don't do anything that's gonna kill us. That's all I'm saying. Now, the most important point I think to talk about with this chapter is Kyoshiro himself, and a big shout out to basically Anime Talks 101 and the video he made on this. But after this chapter, I think it's more or less a given that Kyoshiro is playing both sides here, and it wasn't even anything major that pretty much that it took in order to convince me, but just the way that both himself and Komurasaki exchange words in this chapter really gave off the vibe of there's a lot more with basically the connection than just respect between than just a brief respect between samurai. Now, whether or not she's dead, I'm not sure, because her wound didn't even look all that deep, and I have an even more of a hard time believing Oda would basically set her up as much as he has already just to kill her, unless what just happened is that she pretty much passed on is that she passed on what is that she passed is that it is basically her passing on her pretty much duty and mission to basically Kyoshiro, because we basically see the reveal of the card that symbolizes Odin's vassals, which does again in itself pretty much feed even more into the idea that Kyoshiro does have an angle here, but. Yeah, so yeah, I'm so at this point I'm almost positive that pretty much Kyoshiro is playing both sides with basically with knowing all this, but the only thing I'm kind of, but the only thing that I think a lot of it just comes from basically how sudden it happened, but I am hoping that whether Komurasaki is dead or alive, I'm hoping that we still get a lot more with her. Like I want to know what her backstory was, whether or not that includes being whether or not that includes being pretty much Momo's sister or not, because it does feel like things. It does feel like things with basically Komurasaki that they ended up in getting kind of off almost rather abruptly for her. So yeah, whether or not Komurasaki is dead or alive, I still definitely I want to know a little more about her for sure. And again, whether or not that includes her being the Hiyori or not, I don't know. Yeah, if you can't tell by now, if you can't tell from all the stuff I've mentioned thus far, this is one of those chapters where everyone pretty much gets to do something, whether it was Brooks' whole ghost haunting thing and his head, and which his headpiece just adds so much to that, Robin doing her usual thing, and even Nami's pretty much summoning Zeus again, which, yeah, after seeing that last page again of the chapter, makes me think that Zeus is going to play some kind of a part in Big Mom regaining her memory. But getting back to the Straw Hats, I just love when we get to see them when we get to see them when we get a lot of spotlight on the other Straw Hats, and even more when it focuses on characters that we basically want to end up seeing in getting the focus, like Robin and Brooke. Although, for me personally, one thing I really want to see here soon, hopefully Oda has plans for this, is I want to see Chopper have a moment soon, because don't get me wrong, Oda still has given him stuff to do in the series, but I feel that Chopper as a character has been kind of stagnant for a while, where he can stagnant for a while, and I feel that there is still potential for him in order to develop or just have some really cool moment again. So I'm hoping we get to that soon. Also, the one part that had me laughing even more than Brooks' whole ghost act was basically the whole scene with basically Shinobu and her crotch shot technique, because it's so blatant in how not related to any form ninjutsu it is that you can't help but laugh. Although I guess at the same time you could be said for recently not this whole basically climate attack jutsu technique, and the guy's recollection. Although the guy's recollection of her does kind of make me wonder if she's more of has more of a connection to Odin than just being like the student of Kinemon or something like that. But yeah. But yeah, guys, that's my review. If you enjoyed the video, like, comment, subscribe. I'm on Twitter, Facebook, and Crunchyroll. Dead Night of Anime, signing off. Later, guys.